Welcome back. Very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Khei, or you all can call me KK. My matrix number is 193751. The title of the text that I have selected is Allow Refugees to Work, Give Access to Basic Healthcare and Education. The author of this text is Abba Shah Mohsen. He is currently 30 years old. He did his degree in mass communication, specializing in journalism. He started as an intern in the Sun newspaper in January 2015, and they offered him to work there till now. His biggest achievement is when there was an issue about the increase of taxi fare, and he wrote a story about it. And he got the Best Editorial Award for a quarter of year 2015. Going back to this text that I have selected, the issue highlighted in the text is the government has been urged to allow those seeking refuge in Malaysia to take up jobs in the country, as well as being given access to basic education and healthcare. The argument made by the author is, by hiring refugees, the government could afford to cut down on the numbers of migrant workers being employed in certain industries, adding that this would be a win-win situation for both the country and the refugees. Two relevant evidence to justify the argument stated by the author is, number one, the government need to change their labor management policy to reduce the number of migrant workers here. This can be filled by refugees who are in Malaysia. Second, the Human Resources Ministry should think of hiring them, the refugees. This is where the government needs to rethink the way they shape policies around refugees and make good use of their skills. It's a win for both sides. As for me, I actually come up with the belief, values, and status. So I would like to start off with belief. So the first belief would be, government should consider refugees as skillful and competitive as those migrant workers. Number two, Human Resource Ministry must not be prejudiced in hiring refugees who are in Malaysia to take up jobs here as compared to migrant workers. Number three is, starting from now onwards, labor management policy should be revamped. Going on to the values, the number one values would be reduction in the number of migrant workers. Number two would be benefits obtained from the good use of refugee skills. As going on to the status, I actually stated one of the status only. So, which is, by hiring refugees, the government could greatly cut down the cost of recruitment and the number of migrant workers being employed in the job field. Consequently, more jobs will be available for refugees and, most importantly, to the citizens of Malaysia. So going on to based on the values, belief, as well as the status, it can be interpreted that I agree with the author. Hence, the author's wills are reinforced. I completely agree with the author's issue, which is the government has been urged to allow those seeking refuge in Malaysia to take up jobs in the country, as well as being given access to basic education and healthcare. The argument that I have come up with is the refugees in Malaysia should be given the privilege to apply for jobs in Malaysia and also be given the rights to gain access to basics education as well as healthcare. So my evidence would be only two. One of them would be by hiring refugees instead of migrant workers, government can greatly reduce expenditure in labor recruitment as well as putting a stop to the rising population of migrants in Malaysia. For example, you can observe the number of migrants walking at the streets of Kuala Lumpur compared to Malaysians themselves. At the same time, Malaysia government should give an opportunity to those refugees to work in order for them to pay for their living expenses and healthcare rather than just relying on government for help. This gives them a sense of responsibility while they are still living in Malaysia, and at the same time repaying Malaysian government for allowing them to stay here by providing their expertise as well as delivering their new ideas from different cultures perspective in their current jobs here. That's all from me. Thank you.